Jain friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Condemnations, which mean nothing. Which mean nothing. I have not seen a strong condemnation from a member of the OIC. A very strong condemnation. We're doing good in education, the film industry, anything, any field. Punjabis in India are excelling. And what are Pakistani Punjabis doing? Giving lectures like this. Jain friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Now in the United States of America, there have been a spate of protests by American Jews. Now they did that very recently and I believe it was done in Washington DC where 100 or 200 of them collected and with banners and they're wearing that typical headdress that Jews wear, religious Jews wear, and they said, the banner said, "Not in my name." What they were condemning was Israeli strikes in the Gaza Strip, where they said that there have been a lot of innocent casualties and there have been a lot of people dead and Israel must pipe down. And the tagline for the protest was, "Not in my name." Now, I'd like to say something to these Jews. First of all, I'd like to tell them that, all this is anywhere not in your name. You're not Israeli citizens, most of you. You are American citizens. And whatever the government of Israel is doing in Gaza or in Palestine has never been in your name. This is about the existence of Israel. I could have understood your plea. I could have understood your anguish. I could have understood your tagline, "Not in my name," had you been there in Israel. You were not the ones who faced those Hamas rockets. You were not the ones who've had to bury their children. You have no role to play in this except that you were born in a Jewish family, which is why you're Jewish. You have to understand the pain of Israel. You have to understand how terrorists have entered a country and massacred an entire population, over I think 1,000 dead in those initial terror strikes and the rocket attacks. Now, it's very easy to get all woke and left liberal and say, "Hey, not in my name." And I know why you're doing this. You're doing this because you need to sit down with your radical left friends. You need to sit down with your radical Islamist friends in the evening. And you need to feel good about yourself, which is exactly why you've done it. You do not understand the situation which the Israelis are undergoing. And if you say, "Hey, I'm Jewish," what do you mean I don't understand? Yes, you do not understand. You should stand with Israel, right? You should stand with Israel. Have you seen anybody from one of these Muslim countries, any Muslim country, standing up and saying, "Hey, I stand with Israel"? No, not one. All these countries say we stand with Palestine. We stand with Hamas. They will not openly condemn. Terrorism is bad. It is against humanity. You'll find all these stupid condemnations, which mean nothing. Which mean nothing. I have not seen a strong condemnation from a member of the OIC. A very strong condemnation. What is wrong with you? I want to ask the Jews who are protesting and saying, who are condemning Israel and the Israeli government and saying, "Not in my name," and you are attacking Palestine in my name. They're not attacking in your name. You have no stakes there, apart from the fact that you're Jewish. You have no stakes. And when have you seen any head of state of any Muslim country saying that I stand with Israel? If he did, he would be publicly lynched by his own people. That is the level of radicalization in most of these countries. I'm not saying all these countries, but most of these countries. He would be lynched in public. So please keep your opinions to yourself. Israel is fighting. Either support Israel or shut up. Because either you're with Israel or you're against Israel. And it's not smart to be against Israel because history has shown that the other guys never win. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister, when he criticized the Hamas attack, he said, "I stand with Israel." And this is what anybody, if there is a tragedy in your friend's home, what will you do? You'll tell him that I stand with you, don't worry. You can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm there for you. That is what you tell friends. And this is exactly what Prime Minister Modi told Benjamin Netanyahu, and he told the people of Israel that India is your friend, we stand with you. Did Prime Minister Modi say, "Bomb Gaza"? Did he say that? Did he say launch airstrikes? Israel had suffered and he said, "I stand with you." Now, Look at the victim card being played across the Islamic world. The sheer victim card. There is an entire politics of victim card that goes on in the Middle East. Look at this. Hassan al-Hassan, now he is a Middle East expert, and he told India Today, the Indian Prime Minister within a few hours of the Hamas attack took a very partisan, very clear stance on Twitter by tweeting that India stood in solidarity with Israel. India has associated its own reputation now with the Israeli response. So what he's saying is that a response to the Hamas attack should not be partisan. The Indian Prime Minister condemned terrorism. What this guy, Hassan al-Hassan, wants is the Indian Prime Minister to say, no, actually, you know what? The Hamas guys are not wrong. Maybe some of them have been misled. Someone is a schoolmaster's son or a school teacher's son, and, like it happens in India with a few journalists here. No. Terrorism needs to be condemned. And today I will tell Hassan al-Hassan why the Indian Prime Minister. I just want, not Hassan al-Hassan alone, and not the other guy who, Abdul Khaled, Abdullah, I'm going to tell you about him also. You have to understand why it's not just Prime Minister Modi. Have you seen a vast majority of Indians supporting Israel? And you know why they support Israel? The fact is that 99.9% of the Indians have never been to Israel in their lives. They have never been to Israel. And I'm sure 99% of Israelis have never come to India. Why this bond? You know why? Because both of us, both the countries, Israel and India, have been victims of Islamic Jihad. That is the relation that we have with Israel. Both of us, both these countries, both have lost thousands of innocent people to Islamic Jihad. There you have the Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Palestine, right? Here you have the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. We both have suffered. Therefore, we both are natural partners. Now this character, Hassan al-Hassan, does not like it. He can go to hell. Who cares about him? Khaled Abdullah, he's a professor of political science. The Indian position was in solidarity with the Palestinian cause for a long time, and then there was a gradual shift towards recognizing Israel and deepening strategic relations. Today, it has become completely identified with Israel and has even begun to align itself with, to the point of declaring support for its aggression against Gaza. First of all, this man, Khaled Abdullah, is playing the victim card, which Palestinians are very famous for across the world, and he's a liar also. India never supported, officially, the Indian government has not supported the attack on Gaza. I, as an Indian, support the attacking of Gaza. And I say that Israel should do it at least for a year. Till that time, they turn it into a parking lot. This is me as an Indian citizen saying it. But the Indian government has never said anything like this. I'm free to have an opinion. I don't live in a radical Islamist country. So, Mr. Abdullah, I live in a free country. I'm free to have my opinions. You're not. You probably live under some military dictator or some sheikh somewhere. Or at least originally, even if you live in a Western country today, I don't know where you live, but even if you live in a Western country today, there was a time when your ancestors were living under, or your father were living under a sheikh or somebody who kept you under his boot. So, we are different. I live in a democracy. And my view is, I stand with Israel, no if, no but. And then the same victim card. Rise of anti-Muslim sentiment in India, far right and all that. Same victim card. Nothing but that is why I'm telling you there is so much of talent in many of the Muslim countries, but you know, their leadership is pathetic. Hardly any of the Muslim countries is a democracy. Hardly. 2, 3, 4. And those two are fractured democracies. Which is why apart from a Bangladesh, or apart from 1 or 2 educated countries, Bangladesh is a highly educated country, essentially they're Bengalis. And Bengalis, Hindu or Muslim does not matter. In Bengalis, in Bengali households, there is this obsession with education. It's not simply, study and it's good. No, there is an obsession with knowledge, with gaining knowledge. So whether it's Bangladesh or it's West Bengal, this drive towards education is similar, very similar. I'm not saying exactly the same, but it's quite similar because they share very deep cultural roots. So, you can have a Nobel Prize winner from Bangladesh, or you can have Bangladesh being a successful country now. But rest of the countries, remove oil, and what do they have to offer to the world? Bangladesh does not have a drop of oil, not a drop of oil, but is doing pretty well. Is doing pretty well for itself because they have the priorities in the right place. Unfortunately, all these countries like Syria, Yemen, Libya, all they want is bomb this guy, he's a non-Muslim, kill him, infidel, jihad, that's all, nothing else. And of course, the victim card, the famous Palestinian victim card. For everything, they're victims. The UK has supported Israel's right to defend itself, and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that we stand with Israel in its darkest hour. Also, the British intelligence chiefs, together there's MI6, there is MI7, and there could be a host of others too. They have warned Rishi Sunak of terror risks spilling over into UK because of this conflict. And Ken McCallum, the Director General of Britain's domestic spy agency MI5, said there was a risk that self-initiated individuals may have been radicalized online, right? And spontaneous or unpredictable ways they might respond in. There clearly is the possibility that profound events like West Asia will either generate more volume of UK threat or change its shape in terms of what is being targeted, in terms of how people are taking inspiration. As it is, 3 Jewish schools in London have had to close, and there has been several pro-Palestinian demonstrations across the UK. And this is again what I tell the UK government. You invite in terrorists into your country, they will do this. You give a visa to the Pakistani, he will explode. You give a visa to a Palestinian or a Syrian or a Yemeni, he will explode. I'm telling you today, for the record, do you want to give visas? Let's talk about Muslim countries. Let us talk about Muslim countries. Let us talk about Islam as a religion, right? If UK and US and Australia and Canada really want to give visas to Muslim countries, please, it is my request to you, please give it to Bangladeshis. They will add value to your system. They will make your country, you give citizenship to Bangladeshis, they will ensure that your country becomes better. You give it to Saudis, you give it to people from UAE, you give it to people from Kuwait, they will make sure that your country, whether it's America, whether it's UK, they will make your country better. These are honest, hardworking people, right? Give it to the Malaysians, give it to the Indonesians, the Muslim countries, hardworking, honest people, intelligent people. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to give it to, let me give it to, Palestinians. This is what you're going to face. Your MI5 guy telling you, your Director General of MI5 saying that somebody could blow up. You're giving it to the wrong people from the wrong countries. You should ban people from 8 to 10 countries from coming in, even on a tourist visa. They're just waiting to explode because they're crazy. Look at Bangladesh, its textile market has gone up. Today, I have worn clothes in India. It says very proudly, made in Bangladesh, international quality, top class quality. Where did this come from? Because the Bangladeshis can work hard. They work hard. They have brains, right? But these people, they from other countries, they're stupid. So I don't know why you want to invite these clowns into your country. Give it to good people like the Bangladeshis or the Saudis or some other people. No, don't give it to clowns. The US Navy in the Red Sea has shot down a couple of drones and a few missiles which had been fired by Iran-backed Houthi rebels from Yemen. And also the White House tweeted images of Delta Force, which is US Army Special Forces, Delta Force operating there. So they shook hands with Joe Biden when he was there in Tel Aviv. And by mistake, they tweeted the photograph and then they withdrew it. I don't know whether it was by mistake or they were sending a message. But the fact of the matter is that now you have US forces operating the Navy and the Army and air assets also, because there are aircraft carriers. So obviously, I think you could have literally, how much? Almost 8 to 10 squadrons of fighter jets operating in the vicinity, right? I'm just calculating 100,000 ton displacement, 90 aircraft, 9 to 18, what? 10 squadrons? You have 10 squadrons in the air. Today, as we speak, close to Israel. This is only America. Then UK has put its assets. And if you think that the Delta Force is there and the SEALs are not there, you're sadly mistaken. The SEALs are there, and I'm telling you, the SAS is going to be there shortly. And the last news of the day is that Nawaz Sharif's son-in-law, his name is Captain Safdar. He has threatened everybody and he's threatened the world with nuclear holocaust. That is what Pakistanis do. But not to be taken seriously. And he says that our nuclear weapons belong to the entire Muslim world and we should fight jihad. And who's a Muslim who if you're a Muslim and you don't fight jihad, then you're not a Muslim. And he made this he made this speech in a public rally. But then, people were saying, people contacted me and 2-3 people said, even from Pakistan, no, he has said this. I said, he's a Pakistani Punjabi. He's full of helium. Pakistani Punjabis can only surrender. Pakistani Punjabis cannot fight. All right? Indian Punjabis can fight. There is a difference of DNA between Indian Punjabis and Pakistani Punjabis. Right? So you have Indian Punjabis who've got the Paramveer Chakra. You've got Indian Punjabis who fought bravely for the country, who are honest people who are doing good business, who are doing good in education, the film industry, anything, any field. Punjabis in India are excelling. And what are Pakistani Punjabis doing? Giving lectures like this. We'll bomb some country, we'll do this. And they don't even bomb, that's the problem. The problem is that they are frauds, these PPs, Pakistani Punjabis, I call them PPs. Pakistani Punjabis from Lahore and Sialkot, etc. They are big frauds. They are frauds. They don't even do what they say. This is just for political gain, So let's ignore PPs, Pakistani Punjabis. They are best ignored. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming back to our favorite section of the day, which is question and answers. So I have 2 questions here today. One is by, it says not so sunny. Well, Jain sir, Jain Sunny ji. Oh, his name is Sunny Yadav and he's from Haridwar. And he said, do you think that this decade is a very fragile decade and might lead to circumstances like World War III because already Russia and Ukraine are engaged and now we have Israel and Palestine? And the main thing is that the 2 superpowers, USA and Russia, are directly and indirectly already involved. I don't think World War III. World War III is what the Indian media will have you believe because, when you say World War III and you have somebody saying that, hey, do you think Russia will fire nukes on America or do you think Israel will fire a nuclear weapon on Palestine and all that? They love doing all these comparisons. So what will happen is essentially a guy who is part of the research team in one of these, media outlets, he'll go on Wikipedia and he'll say, okay, how many nuclear missiles does, Israel have? So it's okay, Israel has, let's say 100, 200, whatever, I don't know. So, acha, you have 200 missiles, which means that it can destroy all the Arab countries. Breaking news. So don't take them seriously, right? Just, there is no World War III. Yes, it's a matter of grave concern. Yes, it's a matter of grave concern, but it's not like World War III, not as those levels. Jai Bharat, Major Arya. Jai Bharat. Pranav ji, Jai Bharat. When we talk about Iran and its involvement in this conflict, India has historical ties in terms of trade and exchange with people and culture. What will be India's stand if and when Iran tries to get support from India when it comes to bringing people on the table for peace talks and other negotiations in Arab world and Israel? Pranavji, India has always supported peace talks with anybody. Except for Pakistan, which is a basket case anyway. We are happy to, I think, this is my assumption that the government of India will always support. Let's say tomorrow Palestine comes. India supported peace talks between Russia. Russia is an old partner. Predating our ties with Israel by decades. Russia is like this with India. And even then, Prime Minister Modi openly said that this is not an era of war and he called Russia and Ukraine to, patch up the differences. So if India is called, definitely. We have great relations with Israel. We have great relations with Saudi Arabia. We have great relations with Iran also. And India will play its part. But I'm telling you something. I know a couple of Iranians. The problem is with the Iranian leadership. They're absolutely psychotic. I don't know what else to say. India has Chabahar port. We have investments in Iran. But the problem is that the Iranian leader is absolutely psychotic. They want the death of Jews. They want the destruction of Israel. That is Iran's aim. And the problem is Iran. And Israel has been crying itself hoarse for decades, saying that Iran is the problem, but nobody listens. And today, thousands of Israelis are getting killed because of Iran and thousands of Palestinians are getting killed because of Iran. Because it is Iran that is instigating everything there. And who in Iran? Do you think the common people in Iran want any of this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it is those mad mullahs sitting in Tehran. They want the destruction of the entire world. So ladies and gentlemen, how do you like this video? And if you did like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.